With the massive critical and financial success of Super Mario Bros., both in Japan and here in America, a sequel was almost guaranteed to happen. So not too long after the first game was out, we got Super Mario Bros. 2. No, not that one. We already talked about that game. Today we're talking about the American version, also known as Mario USA in Japan. Benvenuto nella mia... Okay. How many times can I realistically do this gag where I speak Italian during the funny Italian plumber game reviews, you know? La gente se va a enfadar. La gente se va a enfadar. Ni estoy hablando italiano, pero usted no sabe. Más el calvo sabe. Spaghetti. Like I talked about in my Lost Levels video, Nintendo of America didn't want to release the second Mario game here, because it was pretty stinky, but they also didn't want to wait around for a brand new Mario game to be made. Luckily for us, an interesting solution was suggested: Doki Doki Panic. Doki Doki Panic was a game made by Nintendo for some Fuji TV festival thing. Apparently some people from Fuji TV went to Brazil and saw Carnival and wanted to do something similar and had Nintendo make a game for it. I don't know if any of that's true. I just heard that. I don't feel like double checking. It could all be fake. I don't know. While Fuji TV did own the characters used in Doki Doki Panic, they didn't own the game itself, which means that Nintendo could slap off these random guys from the game and slap on Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Peach as replacements. Pretty lucky that there were enough established characters from the first game to do this. Imagine if there was only 3 characters. They would have to invent a whole new character. That'd be weird. The third brother, Marino. Now, some people might start to think that since this was originally a totally different game, that you can't really call this a true Mario game, right? Well, that's where they're kind of wrong. A lot of people that worked on the first Mario game worked on Doki Doki Panic. It wasn't everybody, and the game wasn't even directed by Miyamoto, but I mean, he was the producer, and like I alluded to earlier, this version of the game was later released in Japan as Mario USA, so it's canon. Other than the characters, a few different changes were made, like the addition of a run button, some of the music, a new boss, and probably a few other things. So the story is, I mean, it's a Nintendo game from the 80s, so yeah, it's not gonna be the Odyssey or nothing here. But this time, Mario sees a large staircase. He's dreaming! Mario's dreaming and sees a large staircase, and he goes up it, and he opens a door that's at the top. And then some little creatures are like, "Help, Wart is cursed us," or something. Throw vegetables at him. And then Mario wakes up, he thinks that was weird. Then he goes on a picnic with Luigi, Toad, and Princess Peach. And in a nearby cave, a very similar staircase is located with a very similar door at the top. He opens it, and there's the same place he saw in his dream, yeah. And that's how the game starts. When you're falling, that's right after opening the door. So, yeah, that's cool. It's different. Nobody's getting kidnapped. Pretty cool, I guess. Yeah. While creating the game, the team strived to expand on the verticality of the level design. It isn't all vertical levels, but there is way more of this type of level design in this game than there was in the first game. Mainly because there were no levels designed like this in the first game. It's a more notable feature here than in any of the future games as well, so it's pretty unique to this game. You don't stomp on enemies like you do in the first one. You can stand on their heads. They do not care at all. What you gotta do is throw vegetables at them. I don't have a joke here, that's just literally what happens. You can also pick up enemies and throw them at each other. Every 8 enemies you take out, a heart will appear on screen that you can grab to refill your health. As you can see, there are no points and no timer. It's a very minimalistic HUD. Can you even call this a HUD? I don't know. And since there's no timer, you can just take the time to kill 8 enemies to heal yourself from a hit as often as you would like to. Instead of starting out as a one-shot and having to power up to take an extra hit, you start off with 2 and can get up to 4 by grabbing these mushrooms in subspace. Some tufts of grass aren't vegetables and instead are other things. One of those things are these potions that can be placed to make a door appear, which will lead you to said subspace. In there, you can pull up coins from the ground, which can be used at the end of the level to play a slot machine game to gain extra lives. A lot of the times you can place the potion near where you got it, and a mushroom will appear there. But other times you're gonna have to carry it a bit away to get something good out of it. And other times you have to do something in the level in order to get the mushroom. Damn it. You only have a few seconds in there, so you might not have the chance to get everything, so moving quickly is important here. You can go into subspace as many times as you would like in a level, but only on 2 occasions can you pick up coins in there. Sometimes it's best just to leave the coins instead of picking up every single one you come across. Since I brought up the mushroom, I might as well mention the other power-ups now. The Starman is back. It works the same as before. Instead of just finding it in the level, you have to collect 5 cherries to get one to appear. It might just be me, but it does seem to last not as long as it did in the first game. Is that true or am I crazy? The One-Up mushroom is back, but it looks totally different and obviously works exactly the same. Well, actually, it doesn't move around. You have to pick it up, so I guess technically not the same. And now there's a stopwatch you can get that stops enemies for a short time. You get this after picking up 4 large vegetables. The 5th one will be the stopwatch. It's honestly not that useful. You can also pull a shell from the ground, which isn't a power-up, but it's something. I don't know where else to put this. We don't get the fire flower here, but I honestly don't miss it, really. I don't think the game would be much better with it, and it probably would be overpowered, actually, since you would just completely negate the throwing vegetables mechanic if you could just throw fireballs at them. So it's probably for the best that it's not here. Unlike the last 2 games, this one lets you move backwards in the level. The screen no longer locks in place. Because of this, they made enemies respawn pretty much as soon as their spawn point is off screen. I imagine that otherwise, the levels would feel pretty dead if you try to go back after killing all the enemies. Another way of having them reappear is going into these sub-areas, like these caves or pots. They aren't really like the underground bits in the first game, since those were either one single screen or just their own level altogether, but I guess you could make the comparison if you really wanted to. There are a few hidden secrets throughout the game, such as warp zones or just shortcuts you can take with certain characters. So we got 4 characters, but they aren't just cosmetic changes. They all play a little differently. Mario is Mario. He's the most balanced out of all of them. He doesn't do anything better than anybody else, but he's still solid. You should pick him most of the time if you don't know what you're doing. Luigi, by contrast, has a higher jump, butter under his shoes, and his jump has this flutter to it. He does take some getting used to, but he is really useful for taking shortcuts and whatnot. Definitely a character that you should not overlook. That being said, I do find it hard to make micro adjustments with him, leading me to get hit by a Birdo a lot more often than I would like to later on in the game. Toad's jumping ability is the worst out of the bunch, but he does lift things the fastest. He also runs the fastest while he is holding something. If you have a level with a lot of digging, you should pick him. He's also good for collecting a lot of coins in subspace, so if you know ahead of time that you're gonna get a lot of coins in a specific level, you should be picking Toad. Last we have Peach, which picks up things the slowest, but she can freaking hover for a few seconds. This ability is pretty useful for obvious reasons when you're playing a platformer. That being said, picking things up the slowest isn't really good, and it got me killed a few times, and I don't really like Peach that much overall. I kind of wish I could switch out characters like when I'm fighting Birdo. That would be ideal. Her hover ability does feel really good though. It's just I don't like fighting Birdo. Is it me, or are you invincible while lifting things up, like in the animation, in the middle of the animation of actually lifting the thing up above your head? Like while that's happening, I'm pretty sure you're invincible, because I'm pretty sure I should have taken damage a few times while doing that, and I didn't, so pretty sure you're invincible. There are only 7 worlds in this game, with only 3 levels per world, with level 7 only having 2 levels. The worlds, just like last time, don't seem to have names, so, you know, 1 through 7, but they do have themes to them. World 1 is a pretty standard grassland. World 2 is a desert, so I guess you can say that this is where that trope in Mario games started. Thanks, I hate it. World 3 seems to be waterfall and tunnel theme. World 4 is ice. 5 is grass again, but at night. 6 is desert again, and 7 is sky themed. The game is pretty easy overall. It's definitely easier than the first 2 games, especially the real second game. Things start to get difficult around World 5, but before then we have 4-2. Those gosh darn whales with their gosh darn blowholes shooting that gosh darn water out. It's pretty easy to get hit by them. and I hate it. Funny enough though, if you have the Starman, you can actually kill the water. It's not even that hard of a level. It's just really easy to get hit if you're not playing as Peach. Which leads me to a slight complaint with the game. Once you select a character for a specific level, there seems to be no way of selecting another character even if you die in the level. Which makes sense because dying in a level doesn't start you from the very beginning, it starts you at the last sub-entry place, like if you enter a cave and then go out, and if you die, you start at the cave entrance. But on more than one occasion, I was smashing that A button and accidentally picked a character I didn't want to pick. Or I forgot what level was next, leading me to use Peach, or not Peach, when I wanted to or didn't want to. But after 2-4, things get more difficult. I hated World 5 so much. Fili della loro fortuta madre! It's not even that hard. It's not even that, like, complicated. It's just, I just died a lot. Yeah, I take it back. It's not that it's complicated. There's just so much stuff going on. Look at this. Why is there so many bombs? World 6 is actually a little easier, and 6-3 has a shortcut at the beginning, so it's one of the shortest levels in the entire game, technically. Even World 7 feels easier than 5. All my homies hate World 5. Every level ends with you picking up an orb and walking into the mouth of an eagle mask. Yeah, unfun levels aside, this game does look great. It's a pretty big upgrade from the first game's graphics. Things just pop a lot, and Mario looks kind of like you would think he would. The music is also great. And I mean, it's Koji Kondo, what do you expect? I think it's fair to say that this game's soundtrack is better than the first game's soundtrack. In my opinion, the main theme is used a bit too much and does start to irritate me after I die over and over and over again on World 5, but it's a fine track. Very upbeat and bouncy, something that you want in a platformer, where you're jumping and stuff. I love pausing in this game, because if you do so, you're just left with a bass track. And it sounds pretty good. The underground theme is mysterious, the subspace is the returning theme from the first game, and the boss theme really brings out the intensity of the situation. The only theme that I think is bad is the final boss theme. It's just very underwhelming compared to the rest of the soundtrack, and I don't think it properly conveys any feeling that would tie into what you're actually doing on screen. The enemies are pretty uninteresting, honestly. Most of them just kind of jump around or walk, and sometimes shoot stuff at you. There are a few notable ones though, like Bob-ombs and Shy Guys, although the reason that they are notable is because they are iconic enemies that appear later in the series that make their debut here. Okay, I guess Phanto's a pretty unique enemy. There are levels in which you need to grab a key to open a door. Grabbing the key will activate Phanto. He will then chase you throughout the level, unless you drop the key again. Then he goes away. Don't let the key go off screen though, because there's a chance that it will despawn, and you'll have to go back to the Phanto room to get it. I will also say the fact that Astra will actively follow you easily makes him one of the more annoying enemies in the game. Birdo is a boss? Mini-boss? Special enemy. Also, if you thought that Birdo was just a pink version of Yoshi with a weird mouth, no. She's older than Yoshi in the series. And yes, Birdo is a male. Even the original game's manual mentions that her name was Catherine and that she was a male that thinks she's a girl. Also that she likes to be called Kathy. Anyways, Birdo is at the end of most of the levels, and comes in a few different colors. The default pink will shoot eggs at you, which you need to grab and throw back at them. The red ones will both shoot eggs and fireballs at you, and the other two will just throw fireballs, at which point you need to pick something else up and throw it at them. Birdo is more of a speed bump than anything else. She's pretty easy. Unless I'm using Luigi, of course, and then I start to choke for no reason, and she sucks, and not even in the fun way like Count Dankula would want. The real bosses are these guys: Mouser, Triclide, Clawgrip, and Fry Guy. The fact that pretty much nobody that hasn't played this game knows who these characters are speaks volumes. They aren't bad, but it's Mouser. He throws bombs at you and you have to grab them and throw them back. Although it is better to place them on the platform where he's standing on, rather than trying to chuck them at him. You fight him a second time, the only difference being that there is a spark in the same room, and Mauser turns into a 5-hit as opposed to a 3-hit. Triglide has a cool design. He'll shoot fireballs at you, and yeah, you hit him 3 times, he's dead. I'm gonna talk a little more just to have more footage of him on screen, because yeah. Alright, moving on. Fry Guy is the new boss for this game. In the original, you would fight Mauser a third time. Have I been saying Mauser? That's not the right name. Did I mess up? He moves around the screen, dropping fire at you, then splits into multiple Fry Guys that you need to take out. They get faster as the other ones are taken out, so it's best to take them all out in one go. Claw Grip throws rocks at you, and you need to grab them and throw them back. Yeah, they're kind of the same. Kind of the same deal. Throwing the rock at the wall behind him will cause it to bounce multiple times on him, landing you multiple hits. Before fighting Wart himself, you'll have to fight the burden mass that you've been entering at the end of the levels, which is a nice twist. Hit it 3 times, enter the mouth, and fight the final battle with Wart. Yeah, that's weird. I like this. This is strange. Wart will walk back and forth, shooting bubbles at you. The machine over here is the Dream Machine, and for some reason it's giving us vegetables to throw at him. Why am I bringing this up? Yeah, I already stole one of his jokes for the Zelda review, so I can't really do it again, but I want to acknowledge it at the very least. Because I don't think I can do it again, right? Wart's a dipshit. His bubble pattern can take some getting used to, but once you got the feel for it, it's pretty easy to avoid. Just run to the opposite side of the screen. Yeah, it's that easy. No wonder he never came back in future alright, I'm sorry. After beating him, you get to see how many times you used each character. Toad, you should have been 3, but I accidentally pressed A on Peach one time when I didn't mean to. I'm sorry, you guys should be tied. While the subcons take Wart away, in a scene that reminds me of King Dedede for some reason. I don't know, this is very King Dedede-esque to me. After that, it's revealed that all of that was a dream. Cool? Or maybe it was real, just it takes place in the dream world? Well, Wart never comes back, so... The game is pretty good, all things considered. It feels good to play, it looks better than the first game, the soundtrack is better than the first game, it's generally easier to get into, but I don't know how much of an impact it had on the series. That's right, what Super Mario Bros. Did for the 2D platformer, Super Mario Bros. 2 did... for nothing? Maybe, and I mean maybe. The lifting objects mechanic was the inspiration for Mario being able to pick up Koopa shells in the next game. Maybe. The only reason why I say that is because, again, the people that worked on the first game worked on the original version of this game, and presumably they would have learned what worked and what didn't from each of their projects they worked on, even if it wasn't necessarily a Mario game. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. This is a pretty cool game. Hope you enjoyed the video, and hope you enjoyed looking at this beautiful game, because it really does look good. It really does look good. Make sure to leave a comment down below, please. If you're here in the review, say hi in the live chat, which is this way? Yeah, it's this way. Am I pointing out your name right now? Whose name am I pointing out right now? Leave it in the comments down below after the premiere's done premiering. Next Mario game, obviously, Mario 3. Before then, I want to review Lego Star Wars 2. And then after that, before moving on to Mario 3, I probably should do Zelda 2 and Metroid 2 so I can do the... There's a car outside, I hate him. So I can do the whole Trinity thing that I had going on for those 3 reviews. So yeah, gonna try to keep doing that. So I gotta beat Zelda 2 for the first time. Which I might just record that. I might just record my first attempt. Since I'm not doing Let's Plays anymore. So, yeah. Hopefully I like the game. I want to like it. I probably will. But I might not. I don't know. But, yeah. Next video, though. Should I? Yeah. I'm not sure what the next video is going to be. It might be... Might be Lego Star Wars 2. It might be the Pokemon... Whatchamacallit? Not video essay. I need to do that. Yeah. I also need to do God of War. There's a lot of stuff I need to do this year, and there's so little time. We're already in March! Oh, also, speaking of, unless I fail epically, it's my birthday! Yay! Yeah, it's my birthday. Leave a comment down below because it's my birthday. Yeah! Make me happy for my birthday. I'm 26. My dad thought I was turning 27 for some reason. And then I got scared that I did the math wrong. By do the math wrong, I mean remember wrong. So, yeah, there's that. Anyways, peace out. Check the game out. Yeah. Angry Canadian? Do you guys know who Angry Canadian is? Yeah. Alright, peace out, I guess.